Hi everyone, I'm really excited that you wanted to learn more about how to keep your kids and family healthy with nutrition. My name's Athena Cannon and I'm a fourth year PharmD student from Texas Tech University. Throughout the PowerPoint, there will be some images with a lot of detail. Please feel free to press pause on the video at any time to check them out. Let's get started. First things first. In order to have healthy children, you have to strive for having a healthy family. Stanford Children says eating meals together as a family is a great way to set expectations for everyone in the household, strengthen your communication and bond between children and parents, and be a role model for your child. You know they love to follow the leader or play copycat, and there's no exception with food. They want to eat what they see you eating. Traditionally, kids are expected to eat whatever mom or dad cooks, and then mom or dad is pressured into cooking whatever the kids like, which may result in chicken nuggets 4 times a week. In hopes of breaking this cycle, try involving your kids in the whole process, from meal planning, shopping, and preparing the food. Schedule in time with your kids every Sunday morning to sit down and plan the meals of the week. Set the expectations that each meal needs to have a fruit and a vegetable, and that they choose 1 or 2 new dishes to try a week. Involving them in this process will allow them to choose the foods they like, while also ensuring they are getting their fruits and veggies and trying new things. Shopping. Now, I can imagine grocery shopping with your kids can be an absolute nightmare at times, so don't beat yourself up if this takes trial and error. Find ways to involve your kids in the process, whether you have a toddler that, while they can't pick out their own food, you can have them identify different fruits as you pick them up, or have them practice reading the nutrition label. Number 1 rule about going to the store: don't forget your list and never go to the store with hungry kids. Involving your kids in the meal prepping process can help them hit many developmental milestones and hopefully help the older kids appreciate the process and prepare them for their futures. I loved this infographic by Cook Smart that provides safe ways to involve your children in the cooking process based on their age. Overall, accept that perfection is not the goal here. There are some foods your kids may not like no matter what you do. There will be hard days where the whole plan falls apart. When this happens, keep tabs on the healthy foods your kids enjoy and use those as backup plans. Whatever tips and tricks you try, make it a routine, and over time it should get easier. We have talked about eating together as a family and involving your children in the process, but what should meals actually look like? There are many different variations of the MyPlate method, which was developed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for children and adults. I chose the infographic made by the Harvard School of Public Health because of the detail they provide. So let's start with the plate. It's really important to not overeat, even if the foods are healthy. Many dietitians recommend eating off a 9-inch plate as opposed to the standard 12-inch plate to prevent overeating. Looking at the infographic, each plate should be filled halfway with fruits and vegetables. A quarter of the plate should be whole grains, and a quarter of the plate should be protein. Even if you aren't eating from a plate, ask yourself, does this meal have more fruits and vegetables than protein and carbohydrates? If the answer is yes, you're doing it right. Now, I know what you're thinking. How am I going to fill half of my child's plate with fruits and vegetables? How am I going to integrate veggies into breakfast, lunch, and dinner? There are a variety of ways you can do this, depending on what your child likes. Try to incorporate a new vegetable once or twice a week. Picky eaters may make this difficult, so be creative, make it fun, and use the many parenting resources that are on the internet to look for ideas. Now that we know what should go on our plates, how do we ensure that what we are buying is healthy for us? I always recommend buying things without a nutrition label. This includes fresh fruits and vegetables, potatoes, fish, meat, and things that you buy at the store and cook at home. This is the best way to be confident that what you're eating is healthy. In the scenarios where you have to buy packaged food, It is critical to look at the nutrition label and stay away from foods that might be harmful to your body. So let's dive into the details. Most foods that come in a package will have a nutrition label. The first thing you want to look at on the nutrition label is the serving size. The serving size tells us how many servings each container has and what quantity of foods contain the ingredients listed below. For instance, on this nutrition label, there are 8 servings per container, and each serving is 2/3 of a cup. The serving sizes reflect the amount of food that someone eats in one setting, so it is really important to not overindulge and eat more than one serving size. Now, as we go down the nutrition label, one serving, or 2/3 cup, has 230 calories, 8 grams of total fat, 160 milligrams of sodium, 37 grams of total carbohydrates, which consists of 4 grams of dietary fiber, 12 grams of total sugar, and 10 grams of added sugar, as well as 3 grams of protein. Remember, if you eat more than one serving size, you are eating more of the ingredients than the amounts listed on the label. The next thing you can look for on the label is the amount of calories. Calories reflect the amount of energy that food gives us. The amount of calories that we need in a day is different based on our age, whether we are male or female, and how active we are throughout the day. These tables from the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute approximate the amount of calories needed each day based on age, sex, and how active you are throughout the day. Remember that while these are recommendations for generally healthy individuals, always talk to your doctor if you have any questions on you or your child's individual needs. The total fats are listed on the nutrition label and are broken down into saturated fats and trans fats. The rest of the fats that are not listed are unsaturated fats. Now for the good news. Unsaturated fats are an important part of our diet. Polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats are beneficial for our heart health. The fats we want to stay away from are trans fats that can increase blood cholesterol, cause inflammation, and damage throughout the blood vessels. Saturated fats aren't as harmful as trans fats, but they aren't as safe as unsaturated fats. This is why the current recommendation is to limit saturated fats to less than 10% the total daily value. You can see on this nutrition label that the saturated fats in this product are 5% of the total daily value. Fats are commonly seen in a lot of the foods we are already eating. Here are some examples of unsaturated, saturated, and trans fats. Remember, green means go, yellow means slow down and limit to less than 10%, and red means stop. Carbohydrates consist of starches, which are complex sugar molecules, fiber, and simple sugars. When reading a nutrition label, you want to eat foods high in fiber and low in sugar, especially sugars that are added to the products to make them sweeter than they naturally are. The American Heart Association recommends that children should have less than 25 grams of added sugars daily. However, the closer to 0, the better. This also applies for the parents. Men should have no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day, and women no more than 25 grams per day. Remember, when your little ones see you eating foods that are high in sugar, they're likely to want to eat them as well. As I mentioned, fiber is another important ingredient on the nutrition label. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics recommends different amounts of fiber in grams per day based on your age. Foods high in fiber include whole fruits with the skin on, not fruit juices, vegetables, potatoes, beans, chia seeds, and whole wheat products. Protein is the last component on the nutrition label that we're going to discuss. When we think of protein, we commonly think of our meats, but protein is actually present in many different types of foods, including beans, fish, dairy products, and nuts and seeds. Protein is an important part of our diet, but remember, it's more important to have a plate full of vegetables. The current recommendation for protein is about 4 ounces or the size of your palm. When thinking about what your children should drink, stick with the basics: water and milk. The American Academy of Pediatrics encourages children to introduce water at 6 months and to drink plenty of water to keep them hydrated. Milk is a great source of calcium, vitamins, minerals, and protein. As your child gets older and starts wanting to explore other drink options, don't let them fall into the trap of high-sugar drinks. As you can see in the picture, 1 bottle of Gatorade, Coke, or juice already exceeds the maximum daily amount of 26 grams of sugar per day. Snacks can be one of the more difficult choices for parents, considering the variety of unhealthy snacks available. Remember to always use fruits and vegetables first. When looking at packaged snacks, if sugar is one of the first 3 ingredients listed on the ingredients list, put it to the side. Never serve more than 1 serving at a time and choose foods high in protein and healthy fats. When thinking about ways to incorporate healthy snacks into your child's day, be creative. There are an abundance of ideas for healthy snacks that kids and parents will love online. Thank you again so much for wanting to learn more about how you can help raise healthy children and a healthy family. I hope you have enjoyed the tips and tricks and have learned a little something about proper nutrition. This last slide contains a handout that summarizes the important points that we discussed today. Please continue to learn more about nutrition and overall stay healthy.